And we're back. So I've been thinking about for a while now about creating a series around really using AWS and really using some of these cloud solutions. Not just playing around with the features and creating some demos, but like for instance, I have a few websites that I have, and I've been using a hosting service for years, and I would like to maybe move them over to AWS, and I think that'll be interesting, and that'll be an interesting little project. Um, I think one of the first things I want to do as part of that project is actually go through the Amazon calculator and look at what I'm currently paying and what I'm getting, and then look at the benefits of moving to Amazon and the costs associated to really understand that. Because I think that's going to be one of the more important things um, we will have to do when getting acquainted and supporting Amazon, understanding the costs that will result of whatever you're building. So I had an idea for a new website, and I was thinking rather than building it with WordPress in with my hosting service. They have some interesting features there with cPanel. Um, but I've also heard of this new service in AWS called Lightsail. And it looks like it's essentially a platform as a service. Looks like it's good for application hosting, e-commerce, test environments, but also WordPress. So I think that's kind of interesting. So we're going to start a new website right now, live, using Lightsail, and I've never done this before. So let's just see what the process looks like and how easy it is. So, okay, so I'm in Lightsail here. Um, I've got some tabs here. We've got instances, we've got networking, we've got storage, we've got snapshots. So let's let's see here. We have no networking resources right now. We can create a DSO and we can get a load balancer. Okay, so it looks like it's going to give us all the different components we need to start building our site. Let's just start with creating an instance. Let's just see what else is available. No, okay, let's start there. So we'll create an instance. And yeah, sure, let's create it in Oregon. Oregon. And our image, Linux, Unix. Now, it looks like we have our choice between our Linux or Windows. And then we can go app and OS or OS only. Okay, so that's interesting. So if we go to Linux, there are these blueprints. And it looks like it's going to package our OS with some kind of software, depending on what you want to do. So we want WordPress, so that sounds great. Let's do that. And let's read some of the fine print. Okay, it's Bitnami, it's sold by Bitrock, it's pre-configured, ready to run. That sounds great. And now this is apparently going to cost $5 a month. Okay, so that's interesting. So it'll be interesting. I'll do a little bit of research and we'll talk a little bit about billing. I'm wondering how this billing works for Lightsail versus if I just manually did all this myself. Um, but what the heck, let's give this a try. So we're going to choose our instance plan, and that's 1 cent of USD an hour, $5 a month. We're going to get 512 megs of RAM, one virtual CPU, 20 gigs of SSD, 1 terabyte data transfer. And it says you can try the selected plan for free for 1 month up to 750 hours. And then the plan just scales up from there. So, okay, that's interesting. So we got our name. We can just call this whatever we want. Um, I'm gonna keep the default name for kicks here. We only want one right now. Let's go create this. So it looks like our instance is running now. this is kind of neat. It looks like we got a command prompt here, so this is kind of interesting. I bet you I can click on this and get right directly onto my instance, which would be cool. Oh, it says login failed. If this instance has just started up, maybe try. Okay, wait a minute. So we'll just wait. It's probably still coming up, running some bootstrapping. I would assume probably getting the WordPress application set up. So let's just poke around while we're here. So yeah, like I said, it looks like it's going to give us all of our components that we need to start building our application. In this case, our WordPress site. We can take snapshots. Let's take a look at docs. See what's there. Okay, so we got some Lightsail docs. Okay, so we might have to refer to these a little bit. There's a get started with Windows server-based instances. Get started using WordPress from your Amazon Lightsail instance. Okay, so we're going to open up this doc and we'll probably refer back to that every once in a while. But yeah, this looks great. So let's go back. I've got that open. Let's go back to our instance and see if that's up. Oh, great. And oh, wow, this is really cool. So we have instant access to the command line of our instance. If you're familiar with setting up instances conventionally within Amazon, you'll know that you have to set a key pair. We would have to then go in and look at the details in the instance, get the IP address, so we can SSH into it. I'm going to assume this is probably not publicly available yet. It's probably we're accessing this all internally. I'm not. I'm actually curious to see if I went into the Amazon console, if I would see this instance running just under EC2. Let's check that out just for kicks. So we'll go into our Amazon console and we'll go to EC2. And I cleaned up a while ago, so I shouldn't have any instances running. Okay, interesting. So this is completely divorced from the rest of our Amazon infrastructure. So this is just a completely different platform. So that's really interesting. And so we still have our command line open. Okay, so that's cool. So I'm just going to pause the video here. I'm going to take a look at that document and see where to go next. Okay, so just looking at the documentation real quick, it looks really straightforward. I think if we just go here and go to manage, we'll have a public IP address here. So we already have a public IP address. That's really cool. We'll just throw this in a new tab. And I think this will take us to our WordPress blog. Here we go. This is your default WordPress blog. So I'm really impressed so far. This is by far the easiest spin up I've seen of a WordPress blog. Wow, really nice. So we've got this, and wow, this is really cool. So I think if we go here, and then I think it's got this manage thing down in the corner here, and this is your cloud image for WordPress built by Bitnami. So we've got a user, um, yeah, instructions on how to access it and accessing the PHP admin. Wow, really cool. Let's see here. How do we get a password? Create it on first root. Follow these instructions on how to retrieve the password. I think I saw something in the documentation about that. Okay, I'm going to go back and I'll get the password and then we'll log in and look at starting to set up the WordPress site, selecting templates and such, and we'll go from there. So I found these instructions on getting the password. It looks like it's just a matter of getting, checking the logs, um, probably from the bootstrap when the WordPress was installed and configured. So we can just go into instance settings and get system log, or there's instructions here on the command line. So let's just do that. Oh no, we're not going to see an instance there. Here, let's do it this way. Now I will be changing my password, so don't get too excited here if you see my password. So what we'll do here is system log. So what's the command here? So I just scrolled down a little bit. I found these instructions. So I was able to run this command um, in my other window. So let's just see if that works now. Where were we? Okay, so if we go manage, I'll just get into a login. So if I understood this correctly, I think that's the username, and I put in my password. Let's try that again. Bitnami. Let's try this again. I think maybe it's user. Hmm. Okay, so yeah, I was able to log in. The user ID was user. That was the default user ID, and I was able to get my password from accessing the console and running that command. What was it? I have the note here. It was called, yeah, so you just cat out this file, bitnami underscore application password, and then you'll have access to your WordPress dashboard. So yeah, all in all, pretty quick and easy. You can see um, just how easy it was. Of course, it looks like there's some other enhanced options here that we could create a DNS zone, create a load balancer. We can have additional storage if we wanted. And of course, you saw there's different instances that you can create using different AMIs, depending on what you want to do. So yeah, so that's it. Pretty cool. Um, yeah, I like pretty neat, pretty quick to spin up. Uh, Real quick, easy way to spin up a WordPress website. So kind of interesting. Yeah. So thanks for watching.